Doop doop. Giant floppy donkey dicks. Okay. Giant floppy donkey dicks. So, here's the first bit of fun. A solar array. Yes, we are running solar power because I am a dirty hippie. Roughly 112 kilovolts, which all comes down to here, to these storage cells. And you can exactly see how much power is being stored here. But what would you do with all that power if you had it? Well, you bring it down to a single source, and then you say, hey, I want to build a giant, sneaky, underground tree farm. Roughly 112, I think. It might be more. And here's where high voltage becomes low voltage. And you say to yourself, what fresh hell is this? It's a fully automated tree farm inside of a mountain. We tap water from the ocean. We take the electricity we made over yonder, and then we set up a nice little automated farm that grows trees and stores them safely away, so we will always have wood and trees. And then you build a second farm that grows wheat, because, wheat, you know? And, well, technically seawater. Seawater in this world is not salinated, so I don't have to have a desalinator. But what is interesting is the way I rigged this up is that it recycles the trees. So when you harvest a tree and you get saplings, it reuses the saplings to grow more trees. And any excess ones get sent back into the storage system, which you can see this is not quite working the way it should. I gotta fix that. And over here is the ultimate super storage system, which literally Star Trek style digitizes all the physical objects. And yes, it's all automated, does its own thing by itself. That needs fixing, that loop. But because the trees the standard tree every once in a while drops an apple. But yeah, this is the ocean outside. And then there's a little water accumulation pump down there. And if this glass wasn't here, we could literally swim out. Let's see if I can cut a hole without flooding the universe. There we go. Under the sea, I've got crabs. Yep. And there is your garden variety octopus, which thankfully will not get in the way of anything. And we come out of the water. And there's the mountain with the tree inside of it. the tree farm inside of it. Now, the solar power system takes energy from there and runs it underground over high voltage wire into the heart of this mountain. And as they say, but wait, there's more. When the system auto-generated the land here, it made a little village. And you can see the sheep running about. I don't know where the villagers are. They may have been run off. Normally the villagers are mucking about, harvesting the crops and such. You can actually use them to harvest crops and make them do things, but what did I do? Oh, look. It's a giant industrial complex. Dum dum dum. So, as with the other giant industrial complex, we have a water intake from the ocean, which provides us with water. Hooray for water. But there's no entry from there, so we're going to go back out. Outside, we have an apple tree farm, which looks much better in the daylight. An automated apple tree farm, which produces apples and wood and saplings. The saplings get buffered and replanted into more trees. And the planter is cleverly hidden dead in the center, but you can't really see it. But I'll show it to you in a moment. Over here is regular good old-fashioned tree farm, spawning Brazilian jungle trees because they yield more wood. And you can see the tree being harvested, thump, replanted, and harvested. And you see the little bits as they go floating around. The interesting thing about this tree farm is, to expedite things a little, we have industrial fertilizer. So fertilizer comes into the fertilizer, fertilizes the trees, and accelerates their growth. Hoorah, hooray. One thing to note, when you harvest things, you have a harvest byproduct called sludge. Nasty, evil stuff. If you touch it, you get sick. If you burn it, you get sick. If you get near it, you get sick. And I'll show you what I did with that. Over here, I present to you cows. Not yet. I will show you, yes, technically yes, fertilizer by cow. Over here, we have the animal rancher, which collects anything that can come out of an animal. So as you can see, we have plenty of milk. Because, in true fashion, these are all cows. There are no bulls. However, if you feed them wheat, in the finest of Jeff Goldblum traditions, nature will find a way. So let's feed these cows some wheat. And look, all of a sudden it's a love fest. And little baby cows are born. However, little baby cows get sucked into the cow sorter and get put in their own pen. There's a reason why you're not seeing any little baby cows in the other pen, but I'll get to that in a moment because it's kind of dum-dum-dum-dum-dum. But basically, this machine right here, you fill it with wheat, and any cow that gets near the machine will suddenly make baby cows. And then, yes, right here in the middle is the sewer, which collects animal hoo-ha and is used later on to make fertilizer. Now, the baby cows get shuffled over into this pen. Again, sewage is collected from the baby cows. However, the instant these baby cows grow into adult cows, you'll notice they're all cowering in the corner right now, because this little thing right here harvests the cows into meat and pink slime because we have to have chicken McNuggets. So the instant any one of these little baby cows suddenly becomes an adult cow, into the grinder. This way we can have a fixed number of cows on one side, and as they reproduce, their reproduction goes over here and then gets harvested. So you don't have to keep harvesting and remaking cows over here. Too many cows can put too much load on the server. So these little guys are just sitting around waiting to go to McDonald's. Just not for a Happy Meal, but in a Happy Meal. And I noticed I mentioned the harvester over there. This is the giant iron tank full of milk that's been harvested. Over here is the giant tank full of liquid meat. Yum. And over here is giant tank of pink slime. Parthenogenesis. Yum. So, yeah, it's kind of funny. If you have too many things going on, the server kind of eats its own shit, and I'm running this server locally on my local machine, so. Now, over here, the water we saw gets brought into these steam dynamos and made into electricity. And the wood that we harvest from the apple trees and the not apple trees becomes fuel to make the steam generator make energy, which goes into this little capacitor bank here, which feeds this primary capacitor bank here, and feeds electricity to the rest of the industrial complex. Hooray. There's a little computer up there, and yes, I wrote my own software to monitor what's going on. You'll notice that right now the dynamos have no fuel in them, but that's just because we're using so much energy that it's getting used up as fast as it will make it. And as soon as any wood is actually in there, the monitor will tell me, hey, you've got 1 or 2 pieces of wood. See, there's one right now has 11 pieces of wood in it. So this was supposed to be a control room, but unfortunately, needs being what they are, it became a storage room. So now over here, we have our 2 wonderful stacks of fun. Over here are the fermenters. The fermenters are taking the excess saplings, mulch, and apple juice and turning them into biomass. You got wood. So in this case, extra saplings get stuck into here, and they react with the mulch and with the fruit juice and become biomass. Over here, all the apples we find are squeezed into apple juice, and as a byproduct of squeezing the apples into apple juice, you get mulch. So the mulch and the apple juice go over to the fermenter to make biomass. And just in case things go south, we have 2 very large vats of apple juice that we can call upon should we need them, if the live production falls behind or something breaks or what have you. And then, back here in the fun room, I'm flying, that's why. There we go. In the fun room, we have the sludge refiner. The sludge is the byproduct of harvesting the trees, and it makes various special little things out of it, from clay, sand, soul sand, which you need for doing spooky things, dirt, and mycelium. I think there's some mycelium in here. Yes, there's mycelium, which you can use for mushroom growing. And then over here is the sewage composter, and it takes the sewage and it turns it into industrial fertilizer. There's a little buffer chest there. And that fertilizer goes back to fertilize the trees. And then over here in the auxiliary tank room, we have, well, let's start over here. We have biomass and more biomass. Over here we have sewage. So we actually have a backup system. So we store our excess sewage that isn't being processed so it can be processed later. And ethanol. Yay for ethanol. Now, if we go up here, you see the whole beautiful mess, right? Now, let's see the whole beautiful mess. And down goes all before. Do. Boom. Here's where Mario Brothers would have a goddamn nightmare. As you can see, everything has to be piped and routed and buffered so that the machines don't run out of what they have without overflowing and stalling. I'm still working out. I'm still refining the buffer amounts and things like that. And there's other crazy things I haven't done yet. But each device gets power. It gets its electricity from the generating system over here. This is the wood, the water and wood lines. So this is how wood gets to the steam generators. And then there's the power from the power bank, the main power bank. And you can track that everywhere. This is the regular tree farm. That's the fertilizer that's going to the regular tree farm. And there's all kinds of liquid and solid lines around here. That down there in the barrels is something I just added tonight. That's excess storage because we were having a problem. We were having a problem with too many things clogging up the system, so we had to start storing the excess instead of letting it sit in the tubes. So these are automated barrels that hold all of our extra saplings and apples and mulch. And what will happen eventually is, should anything fail, it'll be able to call in these things and pull them out of the barrels and use them to keep life sustaining. And here's the refinery. And this is where biomass gets converted into ethanol. Chunk. And the ethanol gets sent way over here to the ethanol tank. And it's drawn from the ethanol tank into the compression dynamos, where ethanol is converted into electricity to back up to provide extra power and back up extra power for the rest of the place. And over here is just a series of tubes. This is the internet. But this is the series of water and liquid lines that basically, this chest acts as a buffer for the apples because we got a metric shit ton of apples. But now that we're storing them, I'm being fair. I'm not using automatic destruction. I'm like keeping everything and trying to find a way to make sure that everything is properly harvested. In this case, what do we got going on here? Okay, that's spare wood. That's gonna be fixed. Limit. Clang. There. One thing that happens, you didn't see them, they're hard to see during the day, but there are bees. And bees will cross-pollinate the trees. So sometimes non-apple trees will end up in the apple orchard, and apple trees will end up in the non-apple orchard. You gotta kind of be aware of that, because when you start setting up your filters. Apple saplings. Right. This is acting as a buffer. These are excess apple trees. I'm above and beyond what the planter needs. The planter's chock full of them. So it stores them in here, and then when it runs out, it sucks them in from the chest. Again, a kind of a buffering circuit. Primitive, but I've got to work on that. It's got a few bugs in it. Like you'll notice one of the cross-pollinated red spruces got in there. What I can do is I can take that and send it down the line to be sorted. I'm going to rebuild a lot of this because it needs to be better organized. I mean, it is a truly clusterfuck right now. You can get a clearer view by clearing out some of this. I dug this all out underground as needed. So it's like sometimes you gotta move around and zoom around and fly around things. There we go. So now you can see pretty much. There's the spare power. Above there is the tanks. There's the refinery. All the apples going out to be converted into ethanol. And we all had fun in the sand and the sun. If you remember that song, then you are truly insane, like I am. And there are little escape hatches everywhere, so I can jump up and go, hey, and look at things and make sure things are going all right. And yeah, we have some reasonable wood. So then, it all looks so nice and innocent from up here. Boing. And you can see the skeletons basking in the sun, catching on fire. And there's some cows over there, and there's a spider. But it's time to wreak havoc on the world. Oh, what the hell? No. I hit shift too many times. There's a beehive. You'll see beehives every once in a while. And there are different beehives and different strains of bees and stuff that you can collect and crossbreed. And there's even tanks for handling bee DNA. Go figure. However, what we're going to do now... Ooh, wait a minute. You haven't seen those yet. Yeah. Okay. There you go. Nothing like having some fireflies in the forest. But not exactly what I was looking for. There you go. Nothing like having something. This is a pack of mod packs called Feed the Beast. I used their own list of mod packs. It's like it's a launch controller. So you just slide the mod packs into it and it puts them all together. The thing is, not all of them work well with each other and they don't all play nice. So you gotta either use the ones they curate or you gotta be really careful. Oh yes, here we go. Little Bela Lugosi action. But where? There we go. I knew you were in there somewhere. Boink. Houston, we have cats. So I just unleashed cats and penguins on the world. Oh, this is one of an interesting one here. Boonk. A cow covered in mushrooms. And of course, we have wolves that kind of roam around. Of course, the wolves are going to eat the penguins, I think. I couldn't get the witchery mod pack to work, so I don't have owls yet. I'm trying to see what's happening with that. Oh, good grief, squirrels? I didn't know you could do that. Oh, yes. Hello, Laszlo. Well, I play benevolent and let my little things grow. So yeah, this has been the last couple of I don't sleep anymore nights. Mushroom. In 5, 4,